I hope you're all ready because this is going to be a lot. I'm gonna flip this over. Okay, and then we're gonna go through it chronologically. Sadly, I think I threw away the first drawing of Maya, which was very long ago. I don't even know, like 2012 or 14, something like that. It's been a while. And this I drew when I already had a YouTube channel, so yeah, like I said, sadly, I don't think I can find the other one. I looked, and if you follow me for a while, you know that I had a huge closet full of drawings, and then I condensed all of it down to one box. So this is everything I have, minus a couple of drawings that have nothing to do with Ravenscreek. So why would we go through them? I think it's pretty obvious. We got Maya and we got Caleb. Obviously their names were not Maya and Caleb. However, I do not know what their names were, so we're gonna stick with that. Big jump. We have to jump over to the drawings I made for the manga page. So this is something I drew a couple years ago that has nothing to do with it. It was just a different story. This was supposed to be a vampire story before Ravenscreek, because Ravenscreek was supposed to be a vampire story. At least it started like that. This is when I started with the manga pages, where I would just take somebody else's manga and just replace it with my own characters. And to be honest, I don't know these characters, so it's a guessing game, to be honest. But Maya is probably this one, and I don't know who that is. So once again, this is most probably Maya, and this would be Caleb. Same thing, same thing. Maya, Caleb. I don't know. Maya, Caleb, probably. And then this was from the Buffy comic, where obviously Maya and Caleb. Oh no, I messed something up. So this was also from that era manga where they were supposed to be like these Japanese ninja hunters, vampire hunters, and Maya was supposed to be, or Caleb, I think. You know what? I don't remember. One of them was supposed to get bitten by a vampire, and then they would hunt vampires together, which, whatever. Whatever. This is also a drawing of Maya, and this was like a cover that I did for them. Next, we just have like a couple of environmental things. So like just a bunch of floor plans and stuff like that. I mean, all this stuff is gone. It is what it is. What can you do? I mean, yeah, it was a lot of work, but like, you know, I'm not using it anymore. And then I tried to do my comic like this, where it would just, it was just so difficult for me to do it that way, because cutting up paper, putting it on top of it, moving things around just became impossible in this way. I hadn't planned out a lot past like first episode. So the first episode was going to be like this, where basically Maya, for whatever reason, I don't remember what the reason was, but she would go to this house. I don't know what's going on, but she's going to the house, and then she will it's an abandoned house, and then whoop, oh no, you're a vampire. I don't know. It's confusing as hell. Finally, we start with the sketchbooks, because honestly, everything that was before these books is it's a lot, but I don't have it anymore. So you guys know this era is when I started doing the comic vlogs, I think, and this is really when everything was documented. So if you haven't seen those, obviously I'm gonna talk about this here, but if you have seen them, then I mean, I don't know if it's interesting to watch this, but as you can see, this is when I was starting to transition from cute manga to more serious looking mangas. And this is again Maya and then Caleb, and I just drew them a bunch of times. Summer is a character that doesn't exist anymore, but hasn't for a very long time, so oh well. Funnily enough, Maya was not supposed to be a lesbian, but she looks like one, so that's just foreshadowing, I think. A lot of Caleb here, I always struggled with him. A little throwback to the fact that they were going to be a couple. This has to be the moment where I was like, I don't know what I want to do with my art. Do I want to go more realistic than I am now? You can tell that like from this drawing all the way until just this one, you can already tell the difference in the eyes. But then I was just trying to go more realistic with it. Moment of silence for summer. Moment of silence for high school. I literally did research on when periods start and stuff. Like I go way into much detail. Right, so the bandage was supposed to be something where they get injected with vampire blood, and it would just create this black veins stuff on their arms, and then they would become a vampire, and then they were going to hunt vampire Caleb again. These were supposed to be the weapons they were going to use, so really basic, edgy story stuff, I feel like, when Maya still had a side part. Here's a couple of plans about the abandoned house that she was going to go into and then get, you know, fucked up in there. And then this was also that like a bunch of different designs, I guess. But I even made a like little model out of cardboard of the building and I threw it away. I get very impulsive with stuff like that. I'm like, I never want to see this again, and then 3 months later I want to see it again. It's either I'm hoarding shit or I throw everything away impulsively. I think this is when I started with the whole like drawing scenes from it, which is what I still do, except now that's how I write the story. Here it was more like so I wouldn't forget about it, because I'd always write parts of the story in between and then fill in the gaps later, because I write completely on inspiration, not you know, like how else am I going to do it. So this was also from episode 1. I don't remember exactly. She would get abducted, I think, and then turn into a vampire, and then he would bring her back to her dorm room, something like that. And this was supposed to be one of the vampire guys. Blake was a character that also doesn't exist anymore. Very short-lived. Moment of silence for Blake. I think I might have gone from college to high school and then back to college, so I'm not sure. But this was supposed to be there. I don't know, honestly. What this is, I have no idea. Some big stairs area. And then this was going to be the dorm room, where you have your own bathroom in your dorm room. More Caleb and Maya. Shocker. Oops. Okay, breaking everything. I don't know who that is, but doesn't that not kind of look like Miley Cyrus? We got a little Tara right here. I think I have it in the wrong order, but I'm not sure. Should be in the right order, but I'm not sure. Oh, whatever. Don't know who that is. No clue. Maybe also Tara. Earlier design of Tara. I'm not sure. Again, we got a little sneak peek, a little snippet, I mean, from how the story was going to be. I think this was going to be the same dude as we saw earlier, the vampire guy. Another try of the dorm room, another sketch, and then just the outside. Like, I put a lot of research into just like the way windows were gonna be and lights and how certain things are built and stuff. So put a lot of work into that. A little syringe full of vampire blood, probably. Oh, cool. Caleb, mom died from drugs. Okay. You know, you watch so many shows and every time parents are dead and everything's so traumatic. I'm like, okay, like, can we leave some parents alive maybe? I don't know. Just a theory. I don't know why I drew this room a million times, honestly, because it's the same thing every time, I feel like. So I don't know. And then we got our... Right. So in the beginning, she was going to go to school. She was going to wake up late, like all anime girls do. And then she would run to school parkour style for whatever reason. And then she was going to get hit by a car right in front of the school. And Caleb was going to see her. And then she would just get back up and be all fine because apparently she's superhuman. And everything was going to be just fine. And then he was going to hit on her in the hall later after the class. So next sketchbook, which I'm not sure if it was the one before that or if it is in the right order. So let's get into it. This is when I started doing everything with like Greek mythology stuff and a lot with runes. It was going to be more of a magical thing. That's because I watched Shadowhunters. So apparently Summer was scratched up and is now Milena, except Milena is now Elena because I felt like Maya, Magda, and Milena was just too many M's. Yeah, so here you can see, I think Kopaki, if that's probably not how you read it. Koronis, I don't know how you say it. I'm sorry. I mean, Koronis definitely means raven or crow. I'm not sure. You know what? I don't know. What do I know? Yeah, a lot of mythical creature stuff. Names, I think these are. Ugh, wow, really difficult. I mean, I don't know. Put a lot of research into things that just got scrapped up. So, I don't know. But it's fine. So we're back to high school. And this is still her, like, hunting clothes because they're so edgy and cool. Still with the side part, though. I feel like it's hard for me to see, because definitely this is definitely the one afterwards. But I think it gets hard for me to see, like, in what order it is, because I feel like before I got to the point where I am now, I was pretty okay at drawing manga, and then it just got so much worse, and then it got better again, and it took me a while to get better. Also, everything looked the same. Like, yes, it was hard for me to draw the same person multiple times, but I feel like also they all look the same. Like, it also looked the same. Like, definitely you can tell this is supposed to be Maya and this is Caleb. Like, it's not nice, but they definitely look like a repetition of it. We got more Hera, and then here we got a drawing of Milena, who was super white, probably red hair and everything. I don't even remember that Milena, to be honest. Hera was supposed to be this witch. Healing, hunting. Okay. Pretty sure this is when I dropped the whole myth. No, it's not. But it's, I overworked the coin because they were supposed to have this coin, which is like club coin kind of thing, where everybody in the thing has a coin like that. Necklace. Overworked again, which now it's just witch stuff. And then I did a lot of research on high school and locker specifically and all that stuff. So I put a lot of work into it. I also put a work into how I could maybe call the vampire something else. And I oh my god, I remember that I researched for hours like where vampires come from, what lore and what the origins of it was and stuff like that. Jasper also doesn't exist anymore, but cool to see him. And this is where I really got into Pinterest, because this is when I started to use actual people as reference, which was a huge improvement. Yeah, so you can see how much more proportional they look already. Still a very angular face, like a little bit too much, but it was stylized, so you know, what are you gonna do? Yeah, they're definitely still with the Greek stuff here. Little Terra. More Terra. I really like this drawing of her. Oh, this is when I was planning out like an intro for my channel. So get some Eli finally. Finally somebody who is not white. What? Yeah, so she was gonna have her arm bandaged up because the veins would have been black there. I'm a monster. Yep. Pretty much, aren't we all? Overworked the coin again. I mean, this looks pretty nice. Milena. Interesting. I don't remember any of this stuff. I mean, basically, Maya and Milena at this point, they looked the exact freaking same, except that Maya had straight hair and Milena had curly hair. So it's like, okay. Or wavy hair. Terra and Maya. So 2018. This is all in 1 month. So I filled this entire thing in just 1 month. I mean, you can always really tell when I would look at reference right away and then just basically model the characters after that one person, and then I wouldn't be able to replicate it. But now all of a sudden Maya has these thick cheeks. Looks pretty good here though. More Caleb, very angular faces still, yeah. Look at Milena. Okay, now she's finally black, but look at her eyes. Why did I do that? Does she not look like the guy who's like,
there is no such thing as a coincidence?
I don't know, he always looks like the guy who would never talk to me in school. Not that a lot of guys talk to me in school, but you know. Yeah, more weapons. I went on these YouTube channels where they were like doing all this bow and arrow stuff and like building shit, and I researched so much. I even, like, some dude was like, yeah, I'll make you a drawing of this and this and that. Honestly, what I did like was the fact that in Arrow, the show, which, whatever, not very good, but that's beside the point, he will like roll around and the arrows will stay in his thing, okay? They're just in there, you know, they're not glued to it. Mario and Kaylee. It's so weird looking at all these pencil drawings, and I haven't done a pencil drawing in a really long time. It's just so much stress and annoying. Ooh, now they're gonna have smartwatch. This is what I thought a smartwatch would look like. Yeah, so this is really when I started to understand, or like I studied the planes of the face, and I made a point of drawing all of them, outlining every single thing. Adam, I mean, I'm sure I used a reference, but the way that I translated it just looks real bad. Yeah, so I mean, it's all in the matter of 1 month, but I think you can still tell that they changed a bit, and you can say those lines I put in here. Bow and arrow was too clunky, so I decided to go with a slingshot arrow. So it's like bow and arrow, except it's a slingshot where you put an arrow into it and then you shoot it like an arrow through a bow. It's just much easier to put away. Whatever. You know, see all these started drawings that I never finished, and I just gave up in the middle of it, and then I was like, I would start again right away. Like, what the fuck is this? Holy crap. But like, it's like, I wish I could say that I don't use that anymore, like it doesn't happen anymore, but it still does very much happen. Can't always nail everything in the first try. So this was also just 1 month. I really pumped that stuff out, like I went hard on it. Okay, so here I was doing some studies of arm, and then somebody gave me a metallic pen, which was a mistake apparently. Yeah, it changed a lot. Like now she has curly hair or wavy hair, more freckles. I don't think she had dimples before. I think this is when she got the dimple. Love the COVID masks here. Kind of like the way I was drawing the bodies though. Caleb, I actually think I nailed him, like redrawing him every time, although profiles were never my string. It was just basic. This is just a person from Pinterest. Like, I don't know what this is. Is she supposed to be a chef now or something? I don't know who that is, but it could be Elena or Terra. Again, I changed the coin up with now the Trichera, which honestly I'm not even sure what it means. It was Pinterest. I'll blame it on that. It was just throwing stuff at me and I was just using it. See, like, why did I put so much work into this? Like, school lunch, there's food trucks, and then there's vending machines, and these are the tables, and this is what the school, like, they have to have student cards, and I was gonna design those and the way they look. Like, please, you need to chill. More research in America. Big yellow bus, free bus, because here you have to pay for the school bus. Foreign language, obligatory. Varsity, serious school sport. And then I also was like, what kind of sport are you library practiced after school. Like, oh god. 2 lockers, tables connected to chairs. Okay. God damn. Once again, please take the metallic pens away from me. You can tell that this is where I kind of started to loosen up my strokes again. I can never tell if these are supposed to be scars or if they were just cuts because I didn't color them in. But Caleb definitely had his little neck scar, which I think was supposed to be like his aunt trying to kill him or something. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly, but something like that, which no. What the hell? And the nose scar, actually Maya has that now. And the lip thing, I don't know, man. Nobody has a lip scar. I actually really like this. It's like all of them together. We got Maya, and they all have the necklaces on them. Tara, Caleb, Eli, Adam. I feel like Eli was definitely going to be the token Asian character who was like quirky and like wearing the stupid glasses on his head for no reason. Like, so I did all this research, and I also put in like, I was like working on like school mascot stuff. So first, I guess it was gonna be a bear. Because if you don't know, the Ravenscreek was going to be, basically Ravenscreek was going to be in the woods. It was going to be a creek, and then further out is where like town was going to be, and so it was going to be called East Creek High. The thing is, it just makes no sense for why is it called after the creek that's so far away. Or maybe that's a thing, I don't know, but I changed it from the bear, even though the bear looks really rad. But I guess, you know, it's called Ravenscreek, so I replaced it with a raven. I kind of like the bear though, it looks cool as hell. I think this is when I started beating up my characters. Then here is more of Adam. I think he looks pretty cool here, and apparently he was going to have a couple of freckles. So it's supposed to be like they all go and live in an abandoned building. Funnily enough, I went away from that, and then now I'm coming back to it. But it was gonna be like this abandoned factory building, and they were gonna hang out on the roof all cool and whatever. So this is why he is sitting right there. I tried to draw some facial expressions of her laughing, but I think it just looks like she's about to vomit violently everywhere. Black Water High was basically you have to imagine that Black Water is basically from Supernatural. There's like the second episode where it's like this, I don't remember if it was a skinwalker or a Wendigo. I don't remember, but basically it plays in the wood, and there's like mountains and stuff, and yeah, they drop it's in Black Water Mountains or something like that. Yeah, this is kind of what the whole vibe is based on for Ravenscreek, so I just kind of stole it, except that doesn't really exist anymore. Maybe I'll name drop it somewhere. Yeah, more research on bow and arrows. Yeah, so black hair, kind of like the way the lines look here. This probably was supposed to be Tara, but I'm not sure. I really like this drawing of Maya. Just so soft and I don't know, like, I know that obviously drawing, but it kind of looks lifelike to me. I don't know what. But this was basically the time when the Trench album came out from 21 Pilots, and I got obsessed with the visuals of it so much that I just stole it. Here we have a very short little thing, which is just again one of those snippets of the story. So I only did one drawing for like a bunch of dialogue that was going to happen over multiple panels, I guess. And then I did another one of Caleb, and this actually did that the other day. Now this is the last sketchbook. We got Milena. Finally, our queen has arrived. This is the diner that you can also see if you go on Instagram, or I think I did I think it's 2017 Inktober, where I was doing this like short comic and about this diner and stuff. So yeah, this was where Maya was going to work, and it's now just a Vietnamese restaurant. Here's the same picture colored in. This is basically when I decided that I was over traditional art, because I got so sick of this stuff happening. When you can see it everywhere just bleeding through, and my patience was never this high to like wait for it to dry, and I was always pretty quick at drawing, so this was basically just the last straw for me. Even though this was the last drawing I drew on my channel, and this is also the first digital drawing I ever drew, but this was the last drawing I did traditionally, just because it really, that's when I decided I was so over it. But I used this one because I didn't want to redraw this one. I got so mad at it, I didn't even show anybody, I think. So this is where you can clearly see that I transitioned from traditional to digital. The next drawing was this guy, who I have no idea who that is. I really like this drawing of him still, but still I don't know who that is. You can tell how I had issues drawing backgrounds though, because nothing's blurred. And then the diner again, and then you can see here that I tried to blur the outside, but then the background here is completely sharp. Like, it just looks so bad. But here they are, all four of them, and then Adam would sit here, but it took me a while to draw that. So here's Adam, which the whole thing with drawing dark skin now was just so difficult. And we get this jump from Maya from here to here. It's a drastic change, and she kind of looks like Demi Lovato here. What the hell? So yeah, this was like supposed to be the campus in the background, which is the most generic looking thing you could ever imagine. Like here you can see the way that I was trying to write, and there was not a lot on here yet. It just was too much. It was just too hard to keep track of it. Kind of like this drawing. And then there was supposed to be like a weird dynamic between Elena, Caleb, and Maya. It was going to be like this weird ass, I don't even know, like Elena would be into Caleb, and then Caleb would be into Maya, and then I don't know. It just became too Riverdale for me. Yeah, so Caleb, hockey. And then I gave Maya the pretty big jump from what you saw before to this, right? Like, but this is Maya, and I gave her the nose scar. This was going to be Maya's apartment above Manchai. Also, I mean, I'm sorry, but this was posted on the 18th of August 2019. So I knew COVID was coming, I'm just saying. Maya went from bow and arrow, or swords, bow and arrow, and to slingshot and arrow, and then I deleted all of that and I just said, no, you're just gonna throw it like a dart. So this restaurant was based on my favorite Vietnamese restaurant, my favorite restaurant period, which happens to be Vietnamese. They actually changed everything. So you could come in, there was this right here was a window where you could stand outside and just order, and then you could also come in and there were just these chairs, which you can see right here. This is kind of another view of it, and this was more or less how it was built, and they just changed it up completely. This whole area is just gone. They basically kept the window and they just made it like a little area right here where they then have all of the stuff that is pre-made that just is being still heated, and then they just give you the stuff like, I want number 5, okay, here's your fried noodles, leave. Like it's very fast food now. And then because they have just a Vietnamese restaurant and a sushi place out used to be just right next to each other, they now fused them together, and you now basically the food that I love, which is they used to call it chop suey, which is just vegetables fried and then rice. They just took that off completely now. So basically they can't get it to go anymore unless you have to go to the sushi place next door to ask somebody for the list. Then you can look through, or I guess I can just, I had to do that the first time because they changed all the numbers. They also raised it €3. 3 years, one day to the other. €3. Like, I'm okay if you raise your prices, but like, can you do it a little slower? Maya was supposed to be this track runner. Now she just plays basketball, but I spend a lot of time on stuff like, I'll just use that and I'll do a bunch of research on it. And then I realized that maybe if I just use things that I already like, that I already know things about, and I just kind of implement those into the story, then it becomes a lot easier for me to talk about them instead of having to do research, things that I'm not entirely interested in, like running track. It was supposed to start like this. She runs and she slips on a wet leaf. As you can see, there's a bunch of leaves right here. She slips, falls, and then she's just like, ugh, this blow. And then she just whips out a joint, smokes it, and then she gets, because her teacher is right there, and then she gets thrown out of school. And she also was supposed to have this annoying roommate who's always like fucking or something. Like, obviously there's some dude like, ooh, okay, I'll go for a run, I guess. Why she wouldn't just run around the block or something, but I guess you need to do it on the track field or whatever. He just looks like my old PE teacher. This was him telling her that she needs to understand that her actions have consequences. I don't remember exactly what this was going to be, but I think it's after she was going to be abducted in some way. She was going to run to a payphone and try and get some help or something. The best thing you've ever seen. Obviously, this is when I saw Warrior Nun. Basically, it was supposed to be like, you can see it here pretty well. It was supposed to be like this branding with a snake, with a double-headed snake. And I like the designs on it, but like, basically it was supposed to be Elena and Magda, sorry, now I'm confused of all of this stuff. Elena and Magda were supposed to be this thing called First Blood, where Magda was born at the same exact time as Elena. And so what they did is, from inside of the cult, because obviously, no, who does a branding like that if not a cult? They would abduct the person who was born at the same exact time, and then they do like some blood ritual where they would brand both children, and they would have to grow up together as like lost twins or something like. This is why for Maya it's completely like fresh and sharp and not fuzzy like this, because this is before the second marriage ritual, which at the marriage you would do that again because again it would be a blood oath kind of thing, like another branding. But since she got it as a child, it would be like all fucked up and whatever. This was why Maya, ooh, goodbye, fresh and sharp, and Magda's was all fuzzy. Yeah, you can see a little bit more of the restaurant here. Not a lot, but a little bit. I don't know, I'm just sad that they changed it completely, but I guess I'm just glad that I have these images to remind myself of it. And this is when I decided to have it set in 2 different times, kind of. Basically, as you can see, Magda is wearing this, she kind of looks like a nurse in like tuberculosis times. Like, this shit looks like a ghost. Also, what the fuck is that hand? Obviously, it's like some kind of old school stuff mixed in with the newer clothing, and it just has something to do that the cult has been around for a while and they're isolated, so they didn't really get the memo that we are now using AirPods, you know what I mean? This is the first image of Jane, who is in the same basketball team as Maya in college. She's definitely still a character. We got Magda again, but a little bit updated, even though, like, I'm sorry, it doesn't load very well because the quality of my internet is very great. We got Elena, and I started to play around with colors. Okay, so here we have Maya. I've said too many names, I'm now confused. Maya, Magda, Caleb. So this is basically when, I don't know when exactly it was going to be, but Maya and Magda were gonna become a couple, or are going to become a couple. No longer straight. Felt like maybe I should still keep it that way, but I was like, why would I do that? I don't know what a straight relationship feels like why would I, a gay person, write a straight story when all the straights are already doing it? Like, who else is going to write a gay story but the gays, you know? So like, whatever. Yeah, so this is Magda and Maya, obviously, and then we got them kissing. What? That was pretty hard. It doesn't look very good, but I tried. Another picture of Adam. So this is Reverend Ducey, who is the current leader of the church in the cult, but he's not the one who founded it. I think this is the son from the restaurant owner. I just didn't really, I don't know. Since inside of Ravenscreek, she had to be like this housewife and all that stuff. So now she's like, she knows how to plant stuff and all that jazz. So like, they're in a greenhouse. It's all nice and stuff. I like it a lot. We got Caleb inside of his trailer. But it's like, they're not like RV trailers, like the little ones you put on and you see people on Friday evening like driving around for the weekend. But like, it's like a big proper thing. It's just not. You've all seen Sex Education. That's kind of what it is. Then we have Elena, who's in this old kitchen. It's blurry because I forgot to save it before I blurred it, but this is the old kitchen. I even spent a lot of time on the tiles, but you can't really see them because it's blurry. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so now we have, I think we're all caught up. This is Ravenscreek. These are the characters. Still working on them, obviously. And you'll see in the upcoming comic vlogs everything that's happening with them. I'm already filming one right now, but this is just the recap. So I hope you enjoyed it and you didn't fall asleep, because I almost did, to be honest. See ya!